There are three types of food shoppers, and each of them has a strategy, whether they're aware of it or not, that is either saving them time or money, or wasting their time, money, and clogging up their pantry. So we're going to talk about the three types of food shoppers and their strategies today on the Carefree Cooks Code. I'm Chef Todd Moore, and this is the Carefree Cooks Code, every Tuesday live at noon Eastern. Here's our challenge. How can home cooks cook freely with creativity, confidence, and pride while ignoring recipes and still impressing themselves and others with what they cook? Well, the answer is found in becoming empowered with how cooking works, using dependable and repeatable methods of cooking that work for any ingredient, for any diet, and any desire, just like chefs do. And we'll know we've cracked it when everyone sees cooking as an exciting and rewarding way to improve their relationships, their lifestyles, and their health through better food and cooking. This is the Carefree Cooks Code. Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's the Carefree Cooks Code. Once again, the weekly show for the methods, techniques, and insights into better food and cooking. We, of course, are live every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. And if you've missed any of the past hundred and I don't know. It goes on for years. You can find them all in the archive at facebook.com/chef.todd.more/videos. And if you want to see what I'm cooking when we're not live together and how I did it, you might want to follow Chef Todd on Instagram as well. Valentine's Day, I saw more scallops this Valentine's Day than I've ever seen in my life. There must be, the ocean must be free of scallops right now because everybody jumped on my balsamic reduction scallops. So many people cooking scallops for the first time this Valentine's Day, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. How do they do it? How do they do such amazing things in the kitchen? They're not chefs. They're not professionals. They haven't been doing this for years and years. How does our Carefree Cooks community do it? Well, it's because they create their own recipes, which winds up bringing friends and family together. You become rather magnetic when you cook well. If you learn every time you cook, you start creating your own cooking style, and this all happens when you practice pro methods and you wind up loving your cooking. It's a roadmap right there. And I'm a little bit weird in one respect. Food shopping is a joy to me. I love food shopping. I'm not afraid to admit it. I know most of you would probably disagree. Most people find food shopping a horrible, tedious, time-consuming chore with a big sticker shock at the end, right? Most people hate it. I love it. I don't know what to say. And even in these times, my shopping has changed, and I still love it. And ultimately, it comes down to the fact that I'm fitting into the right type of food shopper. I know myself. I'm in touch with my inner shopper. So I know what kind of shopper I am, but you know what? Most people don't. Most people don't have the ability to identify this. I'm going to help you with that today, and you'll wind up from wasting money and stuff in your pantry to saving money and eating better food. That's what I think is going to be a successful Carefree Cooks Code today, but I'm going to tell you what I mean about this after today's true or false. Please tell me in the comments section below, is this food statement true or false? You can just cut the mold off and it's safe to eat. Okay, so you got a moldy piece of cheese there. You could just cut the mold off and then it's safe to eat. True or false in the comment section below. All right, I want you to stop fighting it. All right, you're resisting. It's early in the year, but you're still resisting it. You are a certain type of food shopper, but you might not know which one you are until you see yourself in the mirror. So if you don't know which one you are, you might be shopping for another person who isn't you. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today, because the other you wastes a whole lot of time, wastes a whole lot of money, and a ton of pantry space. Bad shopping, a stuffed pantry is a symptom of really bad shopping. So would you recognize the alt you? Would you recognize the alt you if I pointed out you to you? Okay, you can think about that later. Look, I love my shopping because it's when I go out and choose the meals that I'm going to be cooking until I have to go out and choose more food that shows me the meals that I'm going to be cooking. All right, it's a little convoluted, but it's obvious because the food that I bring home is not only the inspiration for what I'll cook, but it's also the nutrition that I'm going to give my body and my family. It's the choices that I make in shopping which furthers my commitment toward my personal diet and my wellness goals. Or not. If you don't have personal diet or wellness goals, you maybe have enjoyment goals. And that's fine because even when I go through the checkout line and the cashier has to comment on my 2 boxes of Malomar cookies, they're on sale. I kept telling people that I bought 2 because they were on sale. I mean, come on, people. Sometimes I make the choices that are just guilty pleasures. You got to have some of those, right? You got to have some choices that just make you feel good. But ultimately, I love shopping for my food because I find new ingredients. And even now that I'm shopping online and I'm picking the groceries up, curbside loaded into my car or having them delivered, I find I get the same enjoyment. I still enjoy scrolling through the items, reading the virtual labels. I can click on things and read them, but I don't have to be there in the store. And it takes me back. I remember when I first discovered the local organic market here. They opened an organic market, and for the very first time, if you had seen me for the first time in this store, if you've seen me in any store back then, when I went into stores, when I was unfamiliar with the layout, you would have thought you were seeing me like in a library. You walk around a library, you don't know where the books are, excuse me, can you tell me where the cooking section, So when they opened this organic market near me, I spent hours reading all the new and interesting foods. I examined each and every shelf, I mean, if you saw me there, I'd probably do more reading in the food store than I've ever done in a library, You pick something up and you go, oh man, what's this? Oh, cool. Mexican Oaxaca cheese. What do you do? And my mind goes crazy, right? So if you ever see me in the grocery store, you're going to see me reading labels, looking for ingredients, most certainly. I read labels for weight, for volume, for serving size. Imagine how many meals I might get out of it. I look for country of origin. I look for where it's distributed from. How far did it travel to get into my hand here? There's a lot to learn from the library of food. And is that not what the grocery store is? It's a library of food. So when I'm shopping for serendipity, when I'm just looking to find new foods, new discoveries, I rarely bring a list. It's like you go to the library, you find an interesting book, and you go and read it, right? Because it's way too constraining in a discovery type mode. A list is way too constraining for this type of shopping. So that brings us to the first type of grocery shopper that I'm going to identify for you, and that's the listless shopper. I don't mean listless. I don't mean they're really tired. I mean they shop without a list, okay? Now, again, this isn't inherently good or bad. I'm not making judgments, but it's got to be used in the right instance, okay? So here's the key, match your shopping strategy to where you are doing your shopping. Because when I go to the downtown Baltimore farmers market, I don't ever bring a list because it doesn't make sense. They probably aren't going to have what's on my list. I can't dream it up first and then go to something like a farmer's market or organic market or a local food stand or something. The choices, they change every week at the farmer's market. Some weeks, my buddy Kenny, the chicken guy, he has chicken breast. Some Sundays he doesn't have chicken breast because the chickens aren't ready yet. They're not made in a factory. Kenny doesn't work in a factory. In the right seasons, I go to the farmer's market, I get crabs from the fish guy. No, actually, I know that sounded weird, but in Baltimore, when you say someone gave you crabs, it's a good thing. It is. Nonetheless, when I shop at the farmer's market, I bring nothing but my cloth bags and some imagination, because what I find will dictate what I cook, not the other way around. What I'm planning to cook, I gotta go find, right? Shopping at the farmer's market, the local market, organic market, it's a lot of fun because you put meals together in your head as you notice the food items. And of course, you need some confidence and cooking skills for this. You need the basic, dependable, repeatable methods because they apply to anything. And then when you find the anything, you bring it home and you make a great meal. So I might decide that nice piece of flounder from the fish guy, standing right there in front of him, and he just turns into like an Italian style flounder. Then, next door is these beautiful bright red tomatoes, right? And then I see this basil at the next stand, or what, it all comes together in your mind. I've even made an apricot and goat cheese stuffed chicken, because they put a goat cheese stand next to Kenny the chicken guy that day, right? I didn't go there looking for apricot and goat cheese, but they were next to Kenny. So it's fun to let your creativity, your confidence in the cooking methods do your shopping for you when you do a farmer's market type thing, when you go listless. Now, I'm not talking about my par items, okay? Now, this is an important concept. Par stock. Everybody has par stock. This is a technical term. When I was executive chef at a large hospital, it was very important to keep par stock. If I ran out of specific nutrition things or specific health things, it's not like just running out of milk. So par stock is a very important thing. And par stock are the items that you always keep on hand. So you already know what I'm talking about. You could probably run through your head. You're always going to buy milk, maybe, unless you're lactose intolerant. You're always going to buy eggs, unless you're vegan. You're always going to, I'm not going to do disclaimers for everything. Everybody has a par group, for goodness sake. Milk, egg, cheese, rolls, bread, the incredibly delicious, dangerously delicious pies here in Baltimore. We have this pie shop that is so insanely good, I wind up picking up one of their mini pies as well. That's not for my nutrition, but for my desires, right? It's a chocolate chess pie they do. It's like chocolate mousse never mind. Of course, I only buy the dangerously delicious pies when there are no Malamars in the house. Malamars are always first. But I'm a listless shopper when I go to the supermarket. I'm excited, but I'm listless. However, shopping without a list can be a really dangerous thing when you shop at the local mega grocery store, right? If you shop at the store where they have everything, and you have a choice of everything, and everything comes in very bright packaging with really good marketing, and it's right next to the cash register, or it's in the very brightly lit frozen food section where now when you open the door all the lights come on, or even worse, when you walk past and the lights come on. Come over here. Look at my Gloria Swanson TV dinner, right? They beckon you. If you go into this dangerous world without some kind of written restraint on you, it's going to lead to time, money, and pantry disaster. There's no doubt about it. If you are shopping at the Mega Mart, you have got to make a list. You have to. And this is the second type of grocery shopper. It's Mr. Lister or Miss Lister, if you want. This is the person that grocery shops with a list. And again, neither good nor bad, depending on the situation. And as I said a minute ago, you'll be disappointed if you bring a list to the farmer's market. You'll be missing out if you bring one to the organic market because you're not looking at new things. You're not looking for serendipity, but it can be really useful at the chain grocery store because you kind of know what's there already, right? If you don't want to become food hypnotized in a 50,000 square foot store, you have got to come with a plan. You have got to plan your meals out. You've got to plan some meals for a week or so in advance. And you know you've already got some favorite meals you cook, right? Every single week. And I'm not talking about specific meals. I mean, maybe it's always chicken, mushrooms, hamburger, whatever it might be. You know it's repetitive. You don't just start eating ostrich for no particular reason, right? So you know you have your basic wheelhouse. Did I mention stock, par stock? That's your par stock. So these favorite meals that you cook every week, you know it's true. Everybody's repetitive because, all right, maybe then you've got a day or two during the week that you might try something different. You might have something new. Perhaps a new ingredient does catch your eye at the grocery store, something that inspires you, something you saw in our Carefree Cooks community maybe, right? It's outside your par stock items. Well, then leave a blank spot on your par stock for the daily inspiration, the weekly inspiration. But for the recurring meals, you have got to consider putting a par list together. So, what are the items that you always have on hand? You can easily put a par list together just by going through your cupboards now. Write down all the things that are in your kitchen. These are the things that you cook with. If you come across something that you don't remember it, you don't know what the heck it is, then I'd get rid of it and don't put it on your par stock item, right? So I mentioned some of the things before: milk, eggs, bread, butter, right? The things really that you don't ever want to run out of. Put them on a list and then think about the elements of these recurring meals, okay? So, again, not the specific meal. Let's just say you love chicken parmesan, right? You make it every single week. So you need chicken, you need tomatoes, fresh or canned, you need tomato sauce, jarred, or you'll make it. You want some mozzarella cheese, you need flour, egg, crumb for the 3-part procedure. You need cooking oil, you need seasonings, right? Put those things on your list. I'm going to wind up making chili or stew very often throughout the winter. So I'm adding ground beef or ground turkey, cans of red beans, black beans, onions, peppers, tomatoes. All these things are going to go on my par item list. I always keep shrimp in my freezer. Easily defrosted. I like them. They go 1,000 different ways. And I usually buy the wild caught 1620 IQF shrimp, 16 to 20 of them to a pound, individually quick frozen IQF in 2-pound bags. And since they defrost really quickly, they don't degrade from the experience, you cook them really quickly on the stovetop. So maybe this week, I think I'll make my lemon butter shrimp scampi, but maybe it'll turn into something else. But nonetheless, I'm going to want the pasta, the lemons, the garlic, the onions, the Parmesan cheese, the butter, the wine, the marsala, whatever it might be. Write these things down on a list. You're not making a recipe. You are making a list of things you need. And if you need garlic twice, then put 2 little hash marks. Garlic is more important. But if you keep adding the items to the list as you shop, then you start to develop this house inventory. It's an inventory of the things that you buy on a regular basis. There are 40,000 items, 40,000 items in the average big grocery store, and you buy less than 100 of them. So why do you need to keep a running list of 40,000 items or keep 40,000 items in your mind? You just need a running and growing list of the few things out of the 40,000 that you do buy. Some things you buy every week, some things you buy every month, other things you buy once a year, some things you buy once, you never buy again because they stink, so you cross them off the list, right? If you are a Mr. Lister and you develop something like this list that I'm about to show you, it makes your grocery shopping so much easier because you just go check, no, rather than have to dream everything up. So who you're looking at right now isn't just Mr. Lister, this guy, because I do this like on a professional level for my household. I am not only Mr. Lister, I'm the friggin' master lister here because I run that big grocery store. I run my strategy for my home as if I were running a multi-million-dollar operation for a hospital or a large cafeteria like I used to run. I use the same techniques for my home that I used when I was buying $1 million worth of food a month as the executive chef at a large hospital. Because once you have a par item list, then you can organize it into how it appears in the grocery store itself. This is brilliant. Wait, you stick around for this, okay? This is brilliant. This is why shopping by recipe wastes so much time and money, because instead of listing the items you need like a recipe, group them by food category. So let me go back to the examples. Chicken Parmesan and shrimp scampi are going to need mozzarella and Parmesan cheeses, let's say. So they should not be listed together with chicken, mozzarella, blah, blah, blah. They should be listed under the new dairy section of your par item list. That's how they are in the grocery store. You don't go to the grocery store and there's a chicken Parmesan section with all the things you need. Grocery stores aren't done by recipe, right? They're done by category of food. The chicken and the shrimp should be grouped together under meats or proteins because you're going to find them together in the store. You'll need pasta for this dish. You're going to need rice for another dish. You need the canned beans for chili. These items are all going to be on the same aisle together in the store, so they should be listed together to save yourself the time of going all over that store or scrolling when you buy online, and you wind up saving money because you don't randomly choose things as you're going all over the store. So here we go. Let me give you the categories that I've organized my par item list into. When I'm about to grocery shop, either in person, my little store down the street, or online when I restock, I use the same pantry list. And they are vegetables, perishables. Which vegetables do you buy regularly? You have a lot of salads, lettuce, carrots. What do you use? Fruit or seasonal. These are some of the lists that you might want to break into seasonal categories as well. Some you have all year long, some you don't. Meat, fish, protein should be a list. Chicken, beef, pork, or if your diet is different, whatever your protein is. Dairy, milk, cheeses, yogurts, things like that. Snacks and chips. I don't really buy processed food, but I do buy whole nuts, almonds, cashews, peanuts, things like that. Grains and cereals. I don't eat cereal, but rice, oats, pasta. Then there's canned goods. There's pantry items. Canned tomatoes, peanut butter, canned soups, beans, jam, things like that. Then there's a condiment section. Look on the door of your refrigerator and make a list. What's on there? Sauces, dressings, honey, ketchup, mayo, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce. Make a list of the condiments. They're all next to each other in the same aisle. They're not listed by recipe. Then you got the bake shop. Flour, sugar, cocoa, yeast, chocolate chips, things like that. Frozen section, French fries, fruit for smoothies, ice creams. I don't buy a lot of frozen dinners, things like that. Paper goods, napkins, aluminum foil, plastic wrap. Then I have cleaning supplies like dish soap, hand soap. Lastly, it's health and beauty aids, shampoo, deodorant, rubber bands for the have not had a haircut in a year ponytail. Then rubber bands are important. Drinks, water, sodas, anything like that. And lastly is pets. Harry's very particular about his treats. So that's basically my par list. So the last step in all this, to be a master lister, is to move those categories around in the order that they appear in your grocery store. So you take what's in your house, you start with a recipe, if you will. What do I need for chicken Parmesan? What do I need for da-da-da-da-da? You categorize that as they appear in the grocery store. Then you take those categories as they appear when you walk through the grocery store. So close your eyes and imagine you walk through the store if you're shopping in person or when you're scrolling online. Most stores will have a directory that you can use. Otherwise, if you go into the store, write down how the aisles appear. When you go online, you can often change the way things appear when you shop, so you can shop in a more expeditious way and save time that way. And then you'll be like me. I used to just go up and down each aisle once. I would challenge myself once, because I would know exactly where things were and I knew how many I was going to buy and so on. I would joke with Heather that when I shopped in person, and again now online, but I could take the cart and just like shove it at the end of the aisle and then run in front of the cart and throw things in. I used to like to spend a long time at the grocery store. I used to like to hover there and read all the labels like it was a food library, but sometimes I just want to get out of there as quickly as possible. And online, I want to do it as quickly as possible when I do curbside or delivery. So I can use both of these strategies. Having a par item list categorized by item and then organized by the way that they appear in the way that you shop. It's the best way to buy only what you're going to cook and then cook only what you've bought. And quickly it brings us to the third type of grocery shopper, and this is the wanderer-gatherer. The wanderer-gatherer, this is the person that's most likely to carry a small little carry basket, instead of the cart with wheels. This is the person you're going to see opening all the doors in the frozen food section at 5 p.m. This is the person that is at the grocery store almost every day. They stop on their way home from work. They buy dinner for that night. There's not a lot of foresight in it. They pick up things usually that are going to be eaten within 24 hours. They don't have par items. They don't have a pantry list. They are way more likely to buy convenience items. And I really don't have a strategy for this person, to be honest. They don't need one because they're trading nutrition and food enjoyment for convenience. But they know it. It's okay. Right? And again, I don't judge, but I don't have a shopping strategy for them either because their choices are based on whim. You got to get away from whim. And as you can imagine, the best plan for the wanderer-gatherer is to become another type of shopper. I mean, get a plan, man. Come on, man. Get a plan. You waste the most time and money and you clog up your pantry with whim-based items. When you're a wanderer-gatherer, those things in your pantry that you're never going to use, you didn't make a list for them. You bought them on whim. And what these people, this third type of grocery shopper should do is switch to some type of shopper that starts to plan the foods that they're going to eat. And more importantly, change to the type of shopper that cooks their own food now. No more convenience food. And if you start to focus on the healthier whole foods, the ones that come with one ingredient on the label, if it has a label at all, then you're going to need some cooking skills. And that, gotcha, that's when I've got an entire cooking course for you, because when you just start to learn one cooking method or learn to cook by method, then you gain the confidence to start creating your own meals instead of just warming them up. And when you have the confidence in repeatable methods of cooking, and then you gain the creativity to start looking at the food in your store as something to really express yourself with, something to improve your lifestyle and health with, something to talk to other people about, something to share with friends and family, something that becomes joyous because you're choosing the foods that will become your art and your wellness in the near future, and it's something worth getting excited about it. You see how excited I get? Because if you choose your food wisely, you will grow wise enough to choose good food. I brought food into my house 3 days this week, and I used all three of the methods that I talked about today. I went down to my local grocery store just 2 blocks away. I got some perishables. Grabbed the broccoli, the avocados, the lettuce real quick, in and out of there, double mass kind of thing. Then I got a grocery delivery with all the canned goods, the drinks, the pasta, the rice, all the non-perishables. And then I got my meats and protein from a national delivery company. This is where I get my grass-fed beef, organic chicken, line-caught cod, other high-quality proteins that are going to become next week's dinner. So my grocery shopping has changed so much over the past 12 months, but I still use the 3 types of grocery shopper to keep my home stocked with the options that I'll call upon when I do start cooking. Hey, happy belated Valentine's Day, everyone. Oh my goodness, there was such an outpouring of love through cooking going on in our Carefree Cooks community for lifetime members of web cooking classes this week. It is incredible. I could go on for a half hour showing you photos. I wish I wanted to show everybody's photos. I was so proud of how everybody used cooking as a Valentine's Day gift. It was awesome. I'm so proud of everybody. It's just, you don't know what a compliment it is to me, how I take it to heart so deeply that I show you how to do something and then like dozens of people do it. All the filigree, all the decorating of plates, all the scallops, all the shrimp cocktails. Thank you. Thank you for doing what I showed you how to do. It is such a compliment to me as a teacher and instructor. This is Tom's dish. Although Tom had a disastrous Valentine's Day, not going to go into it. Returning from an injury and still whipping up a lobster roll and seafood bisque for dinner. The dude is indestructible when it comes to cooking. Nice job, Tom, really good. Too cold outside for where Leslie is and a lot of people, so she was forced into a first. She says for her, it's a steak cooked indoors. Indoor steak. Never done it before, she said. And a lobster tail for her Valentine's Day dinner. She's got methods, so it really wasn't a problem to do something like that. Tom cooked this big old steak for Valentine's Day on a nice mash, some gorgeous asparaguses, nonetheless. A bunch of them that are nice, good-looking, rich mushroom sauce. That's a nice dish, Tim. I say Tim, yeah. Dan took advice from our Saturday casual cooking event. He made his shrimp cocktail poached in a shrimp broth that he'd been saving. Double flavor. Nice job. Tina's Valentine's Day dinner started with a nice crisp salad and the Parmesan hard filigree that I showed everybody this past Saturday. To me, that's so much fun when you're decorating your plates like that. It looks like Sandy has been paying attention to my videos lately also, because she's using aphrodisiac foods. She's cooking scallops perfectly, making a balsamic reduction, even garnishing with the scallion explosion. It's just amazing what's going on in our Carefree Cooks community. So cool. Hey, look, I don't want to give you the impression that there's a right way or a wrong way to shop for your food. I mean, do what you want, you know? Just make sure that the way you shop matches the way you cook. That's the best thing. And if I bring a list to the farmer's market, you probably go home with the freshest ingredients, but they're not going to come from the list. And if you go listless at the mega store, you're going to have a lot of money locked up in the pantry from shiny objects that caught your eye, things on sale, momentary inspirations that are often forgotten once you get home. And the whole experience of shopping for your food is going to be a lot more enjoyable when you look at it as a market-to-plate expression of your confidence and creativity. How you're going to cook, where you are shopping, and what you plan to cook will dictate why you choose to be one type of shopper over another. True or false today, if you went listless to the store, let's say, and you went to the cheese shop, you bought way too much cheese, you might find mold on it. Can you cut the mold off and eat it? Yeah, no, mostly not true, mostly true. Soft cheeses, gotta be discarded. It can go right through the soft cheese, but harder cheeses, it's really harder for the mold to penetrate a harder cheese, and some people say you can cut an inch around the mold on harder cheeses, but I mean, I've got to ask why. Is it worth the risk from being sick from moldy cheese? Cheese is not rare. Cheese is not particularly expensive or difficult to find. If you regularly have moldy cheese in your pantry, that means you're not shopping the right way. You need to make a pantry list. I think I heard somebody talk about this. So examine what type of shopper you are and throw away any moldy cheese. Don't risk it. Hey, look, if you saw any of your friends in today's types of shoppers, maybe you should share this video with them. Or if you know someone who is acting like the wrong type of shopper, you should tell them, cut it out. Start with a pantry par item list and share this video with them, by the way. With my live schedule changing this week, I don't want you to be confused about when we're going to be together. That's why I've got my VIP private email system to alert my top fans and followers when I'm going to be live on Facebook. Go to webcookingclasses.com/live to be part of my email alert system. And if you're already getting emails from me, like one that you got this morning, please don't sign up again. Just kind of clogs up this whole system, like shopping at the big store without a pantry. You only need to sign up once if you have already. Hey, thanks for being with me again, everybody. So Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to your shopping and cooking success. Bye, everyone.